They never told you this, that the biggest shifts of your life wouldn't feel like explosions or fireworks. They would feel like confusion, silence, and stillness. That the most powerful moments of transformation wouldn't come with fanfare, but with a subtle sense that something just doesn't fit anymore. You wake up, look around at your life, and it feels like you have outgrown the frequency, like the walls are made of old versions of you, not wrong, just expired. And then something inside you whispers, it is time to jump. Not physically, not symbolically, quantumly.
Most people think quantum jumping is a metaphor, a spiritual way of saying change your mindset or imagine a better future. But what if it is not a metaphor at all? What if, just like in quantum physics, it is a real, measurable process? A shift of energetic alignment so precise, so immediate, that the change occurs without a bridge. No step-by-step, no staircase, just relocation of self. Like an electron jumping from one orbit to another without passing through the space in between. In quantum mechanics, this is called a discontinuous transition. The electron doesn't travel. It disappears from one place and appears in another instantly when enough energy is absorbed. That is not poetry. That is physics. And what if you, as a vibrational being entangled with infinite timelines, function the same way? What if every time you felt the urge to let go, break free, or walk away, it wasn't just emotional restlessness, it was your field preparing to jump? But here's the thing. Most people don't listen. They rationalize, they wait, they analyze the cost of change while their soul is already gone. The mind tries to catch up to a decision the heart already made. That is why transformation feels chaotic, because you're fighting a jump that already started.
See, quantum jumps don't follow logic. They don't need explanation. They only need coherence, alignment, a decision that vibrates louder than your fear. That is when the field responds. That is when the jump locks in. And you have felt it before, haven't you? That moment when a relationship ended and you felt 10 years lighter. When you quit the job and the air suddenly tasted different. When you stopped explaining yourself and the world responded with silence and then with miracles. Those were jumps, not gradual changes, not linear progressions, leaps, not in your calendar, but in your signal. And the reason you didn't see immediate proof wasn't because nothing happened. It was because the field was still reorganizing around your new coordinates. Because that is how it works. The moment you choose, not wish, not hope, but choose a new state of being, the field begins rearranging. But most people abort the jump too soon. They get nervous when nothing changes in 3D right away. They doubt, they return, and the timeline collapses back to the familiar. But here is the twist. Quantum jumping doesn't require belief. It requires broadcast. You don't have to convince yourself it is real. You just have to stop sending the signal of who you used to be. Let's pause here and look at the biology of this. Because quantum jumping isn't just energetic, it is biological. Your brain is a record of the past. It is wired to predict the future based on what has already happened. Every time you think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and perform the same routine, you are reinforcing a neural network that keeps you anchored in your current timeline. In neuroscience, this is called Hebbian learning. Neurons that fire together wire together. Your current identity, the one you are trying to jump out of, is literally a hardwired circuit in your brain. It is a biological loop. So when you try to change, your brain perceives it as a threat. It signals the amygdala. It releases cortisol. It screams, "Go back, the unknown is dangerous." This is why you feel resistance. This is why you feel like you are fighting yourself. It is not because you are weak. It is because your biology is trying to keep you safe in the old timeline. But here is the secret to overriding the system: neuroplasticity. The brain changes when it encounters a new experience that is emotionally stronger than the past. When you engage in a quantum jump, when you embody a new frequency with intense emotion and clarity, you are not just thinking. You are signaling new genes. You are pruning old synaptic connections and sprouting new ones. You are literally building a new brain to house your new reality. So the jump is not just a spiritual idea. It is the act of becoming neurologically unavailable for the old version of you. And this biological shift is what anchors the timeline. Without it, the jump is just a fantasy. With it, it becomes your new default state.
You cannot jump while holding on. That is the first rule, and the one most people resist. Because jumping isn't about getting something new. It is about becoming someone different. And that means letting die what no longer vibrates. Thoughts, habits, personas, timelines, narratives. Not all at once, but energetically, fully. You cannot broadcast the frequency of your future while staying entangled with the emotion of your past. The field cannot receive two signals at once, and it doesn't respond to the louder voice. It responds to the clearest one. This is where quantum mechanics and identity psychology overlap. In the quantum field, all possibilities exist simultaneously as potential. You don't create your new timeline, you access it. And the key is not in doing more, trying harder, or visualizing longer. It is in collapsing the wave of your current self, becoming emotionally and neurologically unavailable for the version of you that created this present reality. And that is the paradox. You don't find your new life by fixing the old one. You jump by no longer being the one who needed it fixed.
This is not theory. In neuroscience, we know that identity is not just a story. It is a set of neural pathways. When you wake up and immediately replay your problems, anxieties, regrets, you are reactivating the familiar self. That self has a frequency. That frequency tells the quantum field, keep broadcasting the same. But what happens when you interrupt that loop? when you wake up and ask, "What would my future self do now?" And then, without evidence, you act as if. Not pretending, not faking, but deciding. Because every future is a frequency, and every identity is a code. You don't earn it, you tune to it. And that tuning requires one thing above all: emotional congruence. If you affirm abundance but still feel scarcity, the field responds to the feeling. If you visualize success but still carry guilt, the field mirrors the guilt. That is not failure, that is feedback. The universe is not judging you, it is calibrating to you. So the question is, what are you still emotionally practicing that belongs to the self you are leaving behind? Worry, people-pleasing, hiding. These aren't just patterns, they are frequencies, and they are keeping you entangled with the timeline you say you want to leave. To collapse the identity is to stop rehearsing it. And you don't need 30 days, 21 steps, or a ritual moon cycle. You need a moment of total energetic honesty. You look at the version of you that is addicted to the old story and you say, "I love you, but I no longer choose you." That is the split. That is the jump. That is the shift the field responds to. Because the field is always scanning for coherence. A state where your thoughts, feelings, actions, and beliefs all match the frequency of the life you say you want. When you hit that note, even for a second, the quantum field locks in. And then something strange happens. The need to prove, to push, to get dissolves. You feel neutral, clear. And that neutrality isn't detachment. It is evidence that the old identity is no longer active. You are no longer waiting for the shift. You are no longer becoming the self. You are the self. This is what separates a quantum jumper from a quantum wisher. One sends a signal and stays in it. The other sends a signal and waits for proof. And when the proof doesn't come, they collapse back into the old self. But not you.
Before the new timeline stabilizes and after the old one collapses, you will enter a space that most people run from. We call this the void. It is the space between who you were and who you are becoming. In this space, the old reality has crumbled, but the new one has not yet appeared. It feels like emptiness. It feels like nothing is happening. It feels like you are floating in the dark. And this terrifies the ego. The ego craves certainty. It craves familiar ground, even if that ground is painful. So when it hits the void, it panics. It says, "Something is wrong. I've lost my way. I need to go back." But listen closely. The void is not a mistake. It is a womb. It is the point of zero-point energy where creation happens. Just like a seed must disintegrate in the dark soil before it becomes a sprout, your old identity must dissolve in the void before the new one can emerge. This phase is the ultimate test of your broadcast. Can you hold the frequency of your future self when there is no external evidence to support it? Can you trust the silence? If you are in this phase right now, if you feel lost, blank, or suspended, do not fill the space with panic. Do not rush to fix it. Hold your frequency in the dark. If you can stand in the void without wavering, without reverting to old coping mechanisms, the quantum field has no choice but to collapse the wave into your new reality. This is where the masters are made. This is where the jump becomes permanent.
Most people don't need more information. They need a protocol, something they can actually do when the mind spirals. Quantum jumping is not a one-time decision. It is a sequence, a vibrational ritual. Let's call it the broadcast shift. Step 1. Recognize the discomfort as a signal. Every time you feel the old self coming back, the fear, the self-doubt, the delay, don't judge it. Recognize it as your signal that you are on the threshold of the jump. In quantum terms, the discomfort is energetic interference, static between your current frequency and the one you are tuning to. Don't interpret the static as a no. It is a recalibration. Step 2. Interrupt the emotional pattern. When the old emotion kicks in, your body wants to follow the path of least resistance. But here is the power move. Interrupt the broadcast. Change your posture. Change your breath. Speak out loud. Do something physical to stop the loop. Neuroscience shows that pattern interruption is the fastest way to disrupt neural coherence. Step 3. Embody the frequency. This is the jump point. You ask, if I already had what I wanted, how would I feel? And you let that feeling take over your nervous system. Not pretend, not visualize, be. For 90 seconds, 3 minutes, however long it takes to flood your field with coherence. You don't need to see the outcome. You need to feel the alignment. Step 4. Make one action. Quantum jumping doesn't mean sitting in silence. It means taking action from your new broadcast. Not to get something, but to demonstrate the shift. Maybe it is a message you send, a boundary you hold, a new thought you practice. It creates entanglement. The field begins to mirror back proof because your signal just became measurable. Step 5. Detach and stay. This is the most misunderstood part. Most people do the ritual, feel good, and then start scanning reality for results. The moment you look for proof, you have stepped out of frequency and back into fear. Real jumping means staying in the vibration even when nothing changes yet, especially then, because that is the ultimate test, and the field is always listening.
So, what actually happens when the jump begins to land? Chaos, silence, reorganization. Because here is the part no one tells you. Your new frequency doesn't just attract what you want, it repels what no longer matches. And that, at first, can feel like loss, like confusion. This is the paradox of the shift. You jump, and suddenly your relationships feel distant, your job feels foreign, your habits feel toxic. Nothing bad is happening. What is happening is energetic misalignment being exposed. Think of it this way. You were vibrating at 93.7 FM. Now you have shifted to 104.5. You are still in the same room, but broadcasting something entirely new, so naturally some things start to drift. That is not regression, that is resonance correcting itself. In quantum terms, you have shifted your vibrational signature and the field is now recalibrating. It is not rejection, it is realignment.
There is something powerful about a decision no one else sees. A quiet choice you make within, before the evidence, before the applause. That is the real quantum jump. The moment you stop broadcasting lack and start embodying your own frequency, with no witnesses but the field itself. Because the field is always watching, not like a judge, but like a mirror. A neutral, infinite intelligence that bends to one thing only, your broadcast. And the most potent frequency you can hold is certainty. Not certainty in outcome, but certainty in self. When you choose yourself, not once, but over and over, in the silence, in the unknown, you are sending the strongest signal the universe can receive. You are saying, "This is who I am, and I don't need proof to be it." That is when the shift becomes real. That is when the new timeline can finally land. Not because you chased it, but because you matched it, you became it. And from this point on, reality is no longer a condition, it is a confirmation. So if you felt something stir in you during this video, if something clicked, shifted, resonated on a level you can't quite explain, that is your field moving. That is coherence rising. That is your new timeline opening. And if you want to continue receiving content that aligns with this field, that supports your expansion, I invite you to stay with us. Not just to subscribe, but to tune in. This isn't just a channel, it is a transmission. And in the comments, tell me, what version of you are you choosing to broadcast today? Not as a wish, as a recognition, as a declaration. Because in this field, you choose yourself again and again until the universe has no choice but to reflect that back. You are not waiting for the shift. You are the shift. Welcome to your new timeline. Welcome to Quantum Core.